And we are live here. Welcome once again to our podcast here at the Rose Meditation. My name is Nuno. I'm a director and also a teacher here at the Rose Meditation. And today I'm by myself. Usually I have Fernanda, my wife and partner in crime, but she's traveling, so today it's on me. The subject is about creativity and how creativity is also a big part of our practices, this ancient way to train. And when you think about things like breath work, meditation, relaxation, even asana, the body techniques, it's not always the first thing that comes to mind, imagination or creativity. But in fact, it is one element that we really use in our classes. And the more advanced our student is, the more we push them to be more creative. Let me explain you a little bit more. Imagination is not something from the creative world. My background, I'm a trained architect, I'm a musician as well. So I'm always creative. I'm always thinking about new stuff. But when you put someone that is not from that world of creativity, people can be kind of frightened of how imagining things. And let me explain you a little bit what I'm talking about and how we combine that knowledge in our classes. So if I suggest you to imagine the sun, probably even you don't need to close your eyes and you imagine the sun, this big ball of fire in that specific color. And then if I ask you, change the shape of the sun that you know to a pyramid, it's not real. But you can do that. You can transform the shape of a sphere into a pyramid, even though it's not true, even though it's not real. But your mind is able to create such a figure, something new. Uh, and having that in mind, you can use your memories and your imagination and your references and combine them together to create new things. That's what we do in architecture. That's what we do in music. We have our references and we have an idea, we have a hint, we have a theme, we have something to inspire ourselves, and then boom, we start creating something new. How do we train this in our classes? The most common, or the first moment that we start to bring imagination is through mentalization. Mentalization is a training of creating mental pictures that represent something. Most of the times it happens during the relaxation. Most of our classes have a moment there that we lie down to relax. And when we really relax, we create an openness to mentalize, to imagine good things. And we can do simple things such as while you are relaxing, imagine that the old cells from your body are now being replaced by new cells. Such a simple word, a sentence, and we can create some kind of image or even sensation. Oh yeah, so this old cells from my body, because I'm doing these kind of techniques, they are so powerful, and now I feel more energized, I feel more vitality afterwards, and this happens while I'm relaxing. And you imagine somehow that renovation happening, and there you be creative. We can do something like while you're breathing, imagine the gas interchange happening. You are not able to visually look at your lung sacs to see the gas interchange, but you know, you have the knowledge of what is happening there. And so, more or less, you can imagine what is happening. So I'm breathing the air. The air has a lot of oxygen particles. The air will go into the lungs and then from the lungs into the lung sacs. And I know, not very much, not in detail, but I know that it is there that there's a gas interchange. So the particles of oxygen will move from your lungs into the blood and exchanging places the carbon dioxide. That's what I know. And when I breathe out, the air that comes out from my lungs have carbon dioxide. You never saw that happen. You were not able to look into a table and see that thing happening, but you know. And with that knowledge and with your imagination, probably some diagrams from school time, you can create something that suggests the gas interchange. Okay? Other moments that we train mentalization for the meditation exercise. I can ask my students now, we sit with the legs crossed, place one hand over the other, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine a square. And your mind will create a square. And now paint that square in the red color. And as a background, flat white. And I can create that picture. And that's how we train our brain in that direction to be able to create images. And when you are doing that, you are training your mind for problem solving as well. I was having this podcast in Portuguese with Larissa, and she's a neuroscientist as well. She was explaining a little bit of how that works. So you have all the connections inside of your brain, and you need to keep learning new things to create new paths. If you still train always the same things, those paths will be stronger. If you learn something and you stop using that knowledge, you lose those connections with time. So having that in mind, it is important for us as human beings to keep learning new things, keep imagining things, keep building images, finding solutions, being creative somehow. And our classes, they train us to do that. For example, I know that people share with me, some of my students say, no, I have a hard time to imagine things. Okay, let's give it a try. Can you imagine, did you have a coffee today? Yeah, I had a coffee. And explain me the size of the mug. Oh, it was a small kind of a espresso type of mug. Oh, got it. Small cup. Yeah. What color was it? Black. Oh, it was a black small mug cup. Got it. And it has something written there, or it was just black? No, it has a star and an R because it's from Starbucks Reserve, and it was bought in Milan. So on the other side, it has an MI. Which colors? Oh, the star and the R is kind of golden, and then the MI is in white. See? You were able to go to your memories, recall the image of that mug, that small cup, and describe to me. And when you were describing, your brain was revisiting the details from your memories of that cup. Okay? Because that's my last coffee was this. So it was a small cup, espresso style, has a star, has the R, and on the other side, has the MI from Milan. So it was not probably different. I was explaining, if you are watching this, and creating a similar image to what I just showed you, right? So your imagination, even though you never saw this small cup of coffee till today, till this moment, by giving you instructions, details, size, color, letters, whatever, maybe the font was different of the R and the MI from Milan. but you were able to make a draft of this small cup here. Got it? So, using that technology that we have inside of our brain, we can build so many good things and interesting things for our classes and for our lives. Creativity is not just being an artist. Creativity is about creating solutions. Artists, they create solutions. Okay, so if as an architect I'm invited to design a project for a house, the problem is I have a piece of land and I have, for example, a family of a couple with 3 kids. Okay, and of course I need to know more about them, so I have more information about the problem that will be combining the wishes and the needs from that family with that piece of land, with the laws, the local laws that restrict construction in that place, and combine everything to create a solution for that family. How? In a creative way. How? I will use my memories, my references, and intertwine somehow into a new thing. That's what happens in architecture. Uh, Same with music. Okay, a bunch of guys like my band, we go to the rehearsal room. Hey, let's play an old tune. Now let's write something new. Any ideas? Yeah, I have this small thing here. Let me show you. And then from that sample, a few rehearsals later, there's a song, a 3 minute song, for example. And that's exactly how the creative work happens. And so when we do our classes, even though the students can be, I would say in a good way, in a passive attitude, say, okay, I'm a student here, teach me how to breathe, teach me how to move, teach me how to relax, teach me how to meditate. There will always be some kind of nudges to be creative or to use imagery to make that class even better, your experience even better. Okay, let's give an example when our classes have a moment that we call the free practice. The teacher can have the freedom to have a small portion of time of the class, up to 5 minutes, for example, and say, guys, now you have 5 minutes to do a free class, a freestyle. And when we say that, we are suggesting our students to use the asanas, the body techniques, and combine them in a way that you build something creative, unique, uh, as a combination, as a freestyle, an improvisation of something. Okay? And when you do that, your brain just loves because it's building these new connections. That means you need to start the movement. You need to choose the next position. You need to mentally choose how you're going to make the transition. Even if you are improvising, even if you have a good flow in your practice, you're still using your brain to go and find the positions that you like, from those which ones you can perform, that you have the ability to do them, and then how am I going to move from this position that I'm right now to that one that I'm thinking about. And then my brain will build a possibility, and then I try to do it with my body. And that mental workout is just amazing to build up your creativity, to build up your neuroplasticity, to just expand your mental skills. Noon, is that some kind of a dance? It could be, but think more about the positive effects that that kind of exercise has to you. And so you just have this kind of open question. Like when you are doing a written test, there's an open question, and you have 10 lines to fill with your answer. That's what I'm talking about in a class. Some of you probably know that for years I was a performer of choreography, so that was part of my profession as well. And I have a lot of people requesting me to give consultancy for choreography. Uh, and so always start by I like to start by making a parallel with language. So when you're learning new languages or a new language, there's a big chance that starting with like this big important hooks, that means small expressions, words, few verbs that you're going to use the most. Okay, and so you learn how to pronounce them, how what they mean, how to use them, and then if on your learning curve you're asked to build a sentence, you're going to grab those words, put it into a specific order so you can build a sentence. And then I can say, okay, using the same words, uh, change the subject, change the intention. It's not an affirmation, it's saying the opposite. So I need to change, I need to move these words around. And so using the same words, I build another sentence, and so on. So choreography and asana and the body techniques are the same as a language. You learn the words, which means the positions. And of course, you also learn how to enter the position and how to leave the position. And now, in a creative way, I want you to reshape the order of those words to build something yours. Another thing, but that's kind of my methodology, my way of teaching that is don't start from the beginning. As an architect, I never started a house from the main door. I started by something else. Another part of the house was my subject, was the theme of the house. Same thing with music. It is a guitar riff, not the intro. Not, oh, I'm going to start a song and it is to start like this. No, it's just building the bulk of the song, and then probably there's a detail that turns into an introduction, or there's the main riff then becomes an intro. I don't know. It's completely open, but I don't force myself to start a choreography from the first position. I don't force my songs to start by the intro. I just try to find a theme, one thing that sparkles, something that it is different and is inspiring for everything else. And that's kind of the seed of creativity resides there. And probably just by giving you these examples, you mentally start to think, oh, that's great. I can do that for my spreadsheets. Of course you can. You don't need to start your spreadsheet by cell A1. Probably you can start your spreadsheet by, I need to find this, so I need to start doing this formula. So I need to bring this information here. Oh, I need to add another column and then another row. It is the same process, but you don't need to start by cell A1 for your spreadsheet, right? And having that in mind, a good way of training that different way of thinking is out of the blue, during your class, your teacher say, free. Choose a balanced position that you like. Just choose and do it. And now you have 2 minutes of free practice. And you need to start standing and you need to finish exactly on the same spot. Or you need to start standing and you're going to finish on your inversion. And I just have kind of a hint, a suggestion. and my brain will start to be creative and building solutions and building ideas, building shapes, building new things that can be useful. If this was too complex in this part, okay, let's give a step back. A step back. So you're doing your class, you're doing your relaxation, and the instructor says, now that you're fully relaxed, do a personal mentalization. That means you have a personal goal and create an image that represents that goal. And sometimes people get a little bit scared, saying, oh, no, I don't know what to mentalize. First thing, have you chosen which goal that you have that you really want to accomplish? Not yet. So start from that. So first thing is the direction. Choose your goal. Got it. So I want to write a book. Great. So it is a book that you're going to mentalize. So next time you're doing my class, for example, you're lying down, doing your relaxation. In that specific moment of the class, I suggest the same thing. So now use this time to mentalize, to visualize a personal goal. And then, oh, that's the book, right? So I should be mentalizing me seated on the computer. That's the process. I want the end goal. I want the result. I want my book published outside on the shelves of the bookstore. Yeah, so I can imagine like my favorite bookstore. Okay, got it. That I collect that image from a memory. I can imagine myself inside of that bookstore. Got it. And now I imagine myself grabbing my book from the shelf. Okay, there's no cover. Don't worry, just a draft. But I see my name in there. John Doe. It's my name there. Oh, great. So this is my mentalization. It's a patchwork of a memory from that bookstore. And then there's the book, the concept of the book, the shape of the book. I don't have details there about what is the subject, whatever, but I know my name. So I'm going to see my name written in the cover of the book. Okay. Then from that class to the next one, I found out a publisher that will be ideal for the things that I like. Oh, I really love to be in that label, that publisher. Great. So I have a logo to add to the cover of my book, above my name, the logo of that publisher. And then I know the title, and then I know the subtitle, and then I know more. And is it thick? Is it thin? And so on. And every time I repeat the same exercise, there's a big chance of having another detail to bring to that mentalization that looks always the same, but I'm always adding something new, another detail. And then from that draft, then something becomes more solid, more concise, more detailed somehow. Okay? So that's how we train our mentalizations. For example, in a 30 minutes class, that probably would be the exercise that our teachers will suggest you to do. In longer classes, they have movement. We really like our students to move their body, to express themselves, to make decisions with their body. You're standing, sit without the assistance of your hands. How? Be creative. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to find a way to sit down without using my hands on the floor. What I'm doing here is I have a problem. I'm problem solving. So I have a problem. You need to move from a standing position to a sitting down position, and that movement will not have the hands on the floor. That's the problem. And then my brain will start to create and to try things until something smooth happens from the standing position to the seated position. All right, it worked. It didn't, okay? It was not very soft, the transition. Next time, I'll do better. I'll try something different. And that kind of workout, mental workout, is creativity in practice. It is um, mentalization. It is about problem solving. Everything with the same exercise and just explodes into so many different directions, even if you're not an artist. Got curious? So you are invited to join our 14 days free trial. So that means we have an online school with teachers from different countries giving classes that will have this content in most of the classes. And you can run a trial, 14 days. You can attend those classes. And then if you like it, awesome. Feel free to join in our membership plans. Or if you don't, that's cool as well. And there's no charge, no fluff, nothing. It's just we will stay friends again. All right. So how to enter? You can use the YouTube link below the description. You have the link to claim your 14 days free trial. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, you can go to our bio and there's the link available there as well. All right. So next week, we'll have another episode of our podcast, probably with Fernanda back again with me. Until then, have a mindful week. Bye bye.